So, unlike the Greenville Group, who are pathological liars on every level, criminal, negligent slumlords, as verified by multiple lawsuits brought against them by the city of Boston over the last few years for failure to regulate the heat in my unit, my digital thermometer doesn't lie. And it keeps showing that there's excessive heat in this building, in spite of the fact that the temperatures outside in Boston have been below 68 degrees for 4 days now. Starting on Sunday, August 17th, 2025, in the evening, the temperatures in the Boston area went down to below 70 degrees overnight and did not exceed 66 degrees the next day on Monday. I would know because I had an interview that day and I was wearing a sweater, and the temperatures throughout that day were 66 degrees. And yet the temperature here in this gigantic vaulted front stairwell area continued to exceed 82 degrees. Look at this, 82.4. It is now 2:45 p.m. on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. I just left a third voicemail for the Greenville Group today because they have refused to turn the heat down, and they claim the heat is off. That is not physically possible because the temperatures in Boston right now are 62 degrees, and you're seeing a 20-degree consistent difference between the external Boston area temperatures as they are naturally occurring in the area right now, 62 degrees, and the heat that is obviously on in this building in spite of the Greenville Group's claims that the heat is off. Maintenance came up to my door at 10:30 this morning. I opened the door right away. I spoke with maintenance. I actually stepped into the hallway and showed them that the heat in the hallway was really high. We did temperature readings together. Then they claimed that I denied entry and then refused to come back up here when I said, hey, I'm not denying entry. I just said that the heat was higher in the hallway than it is in my unit. And it was probably worth doing the temperature readings in the hallway, not in my unit, because my window is open and the temperature readings would not have been accurate. However, they're pathological liars and they make up stories to try to make everybody else look bad and deflect attention away from their own incompetence. Therefore, I'm filing a restraining order against the Greenville Group as of this afternoon. I don't know how hard it is to turn down the heat, but their incompetence is measured by their complete refusal to do something as simple as turn down the heat. I've also contacted Inspectional Services Department, and the inspector who called me this morning seems to be out for the afternoon, or I don't know what's going on over there, but I've had to refile a new case, and there will be another inspection. In the meantime, maybe my emergency restraining order against the Greenville Group will be scheduled for hearing at the housing court. 81 degrees. My digital thermometer doesn't lie, but the Greenville Group certainly does. So, time to take everybody to court because they're lying, they're making up stories. And maintenance was not denied entry. I simply stepped into the hallway and explained that the heat is higher in the hallway than it is in my unit because my window's open. Apparently, that's denial of entry, which is a false claim. And I can also file a restraining order against Greenville's false claims and their lies about me in housing court. I sent 2 emails and 2 voicemails to the Greenville Group over the last 4 hours requesting that maintenance come back up here, and they have failed to do that. And because of their failure to do that, I'm filing a restraining order. I have written documentation in the form of 2 very recently sent emails asking them to send maintenance back up here when maintenance showed up at 10:30 and said, oh, what's the problem? Do you want to explain to me what's going on? I said, yes, there's excessive heat in the hallway. It's really hot in the hallway. My window's open, so it doesn't make sense to do the temperature reading in my unit. Let's do it in the hallway. And then they claim denial of entry. They're pathological liars. They're also criminals. In the meantime, my plans for the afternoon have obviously become completely derailed, so I might as well just file a restraining order. And why is it so insanely hot in here? There's no fucking heat in here. 84 degrees. All right. So now that you can see that I'm aiming it at the shower. Oh my God, wow. So 82 degrees in the bathroom for some strange reason. There's no heat in the bathroom. There's no heating units in the bathroom at all. Very strange. I'm also running the water because it has some kind of a chemical in it that burns your skin upon contact, and that's been happening throughout the morning. I can't use that water. I keep having to go down the hall to the common bathroom and rinse off my hands in the tap from the common bathroom because the water to the tap in the common bathroom is not being tampered with the way the water to my kitchen tap obviously is, and admittedly is, as per multiple written comments by the criminal psychopath who the Greenville Group brag is their criminal fixer. And she herself has made comments about how she's not using a saddle valve to contaminate the water to my tap, but that she is putting mucus in the water to my shower and that I should enjoy the boogers in my hair. That is a written admission of illegal tampering with the water supply to somebody's residence. And that's a federal crime that carries a minimum of 20 years in prison and a $50,000 fine. Yeah, I can't use this water right now because every time I stick my hands under it, there's an immediate and extremely painful burning sensation. There's some kind of a chemical residue in that water. And then you have to go down the hall to the common bathroom to rinse off the water that's on your hands that's causing the burning. And then the water from the common bathroom down the hall stops the burning. That's how you know there's some kind of contamination that is being deliberately leached into the pipes to your sink. And anybody who knows how a saddle valve works, yeah, my hand is burning. Time to go down the hall. I don't know how many times I've made videos about the stinking, burning, chemically and biohazardously contaminated water to my kitchen tap. That doesn't happen when I go down the hall to this bathroom and use the water to this tap right here. My hand right now is burning. There's some kind of nasty chemical coming out of that tap water in my kitchen that immediately goes away as soon as I use the water to this tap, because the water to this tap is not being tampered with by the Greenville Group's criminal career fixer named Jasmine Irizarry, who has made multiple written comments on my social media pages about how she is a structural engineer and an IT expert who gets paid to solve problems. Yeah, this water is perfectly normal, fine, healthy to use, clean, not contaminated. The burning that my hand was just experiencing just now upon contact with the water from my kitchen tap suddenly goes away as soon as I stick my hand under this water. So this water is fine. Just for the record, I stuck my hand under there for over a minute and it's perfectly fine. It actually rinsed off whatever residue has landed on my hand from the water to my kitchen tap that causes immediate skin burning. And if you leave it, the burning becomes worse. It's like some kind of napalm or something. So let's try this again. Does the burning start again? Yep. Wow, that's even worse than it was before. Holy cow. That hurts. Not that seriously hurts. What is in that water? I mean, that is unreal. Serious chemical contamination right there, and they're not even shy about admitting it. They permit their criminally insane psychopath career fixer Irizarry to make nasty comments on my videos about how she's contaminating the water to my tap, but that she's not using a saddle valve. Jesus. That is some serious burning right there. That's nasty, nasty shit, whatever that is. It costs $300 at least to have a private certified water testing lab test the water for a random panel of contaminants. The stupid idiot property manager, Oleg Aleseyev, said, oh, you can get a water testing kit at Home Depot for $10. No, you can't. Those water testing kits test for like one thing, lead. That's not lead. That's some kind of like weird chemical contaminant that causes skin burning and irritation that gets worse and worse if you leave it on your skin. So that is certainly not something that you can test with a $10 water testing kit from Home Depot, unfortunately. So if the Greenville Group are going to continue to permit the contamination of the tap water to my unit, that obviously does not extend to other taps on the same floor, then I'm just going to run it until the chemical contamination goes away and I'm able to safely and effectively use that water consistently for not just hand washing, but drinking, food preparation, and coffee and tea, because I should be able to use this water for drinking. The Boston water supply is extensively treated and monitored at multiple checkpoints along its trajectory from its source at the Quabbin Reservoir in Western Mass. I have spoken with the Massachusetts Water Resource Authority, and they inform me that they are not responsible for the Boston water supply once it enters the Greenville Group's plumbing system and property line. Therefore, whatever chemical contamination continues to occur from this tap, preventing me from being able to use any of the water that comes out of this tap on a regular basis, is the responsibility and liability of the Greenville Group, as is the excessive